Welcome to my kitchen, chef. You know, I've taken a poll about which came first, the chicken or the egg. Guess what? The chicken won. Of course, my director, Donna, disapproves, but that doesn't mean anything because she's in the minority. So you'll have to write to me and tell me what you think. Okay, now let's get to cooking because I've got a wonderful menu today. I've chosen to do the chicken sauce piquant. This is just a fabulous meal that Mama used to cook years ago. Now, I have taken my chicken, which I have purchased at the grocery store. Remember that. And I have browned it. You put a little dab of oil on the bottom of your pot, and you brown it real pretty, just like this. You see how gorgeous that is? It just makes a good crust on the bottom, which Cajuns call that the gratin. But you have to brown it real good because it makes that crust, and that's what really adds to the flavor of that sauce piquant. All right, got them real brown here. Now, after you've done this, you need to take your pieces of chicken out. Okay, take them out here. Careful not to burn yourself. Put it on the side because you don't want to leave your chicken in there because you've got to saute your onions, your bell pepper, and your celery in there. Of course, a Cajun can't cook without that, you know. We just really enjoy using that. It's like without a roux. You gotta have a roux also. Now, to this, I'm gonna add my onions, which I have chopped. And I'm gonna saute this in the gratin. And then add my bell pepper. You add a lot of this because you really, in a sauce piquant, you almost can't have too much of it because it really adds to the flavor. My celery. I don't know why we say onions, bell pepper, and celery instead of celery, bell pepper, and onions or whatever. I guess that's just the way my mama taught me. Okay? Let me use my big spoon. All right. Saute this real good. Now, that gratin will really add to the flavor of everything along with the onions, bell pepper, and celery. And all that wonderful stuff brought together. Ooh, and that chicken flavor, it'll really be good. Now, you see how really, it's really gorgeous. It's pretty and shiny. You cook this down just a little bit. Of course, now you know when I was growing up on the farm, Mama and Daddy always had chickens. And Mama, when she wanted to cook chicken, fried chicken, or sauce piquants or gumbos or whatever, she'd go in the backyard and she'd feed them. Bless those little chickens that always fell for her trick. She'd throw her little grains of corn out there or something, and they'd run out there, and she'd bend over and she'd catch one by the neck. She'd wring that neck and throw it out, and that poor chicken went ooh, all over the yard. And oh, I mean, I couldn't do that. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you know, somebody had to do it, and you could have never caught them, you know, any other way. So that's how you did it. And I'm telling you, she'd pick that chicken up, take it in the house, and she'd have to pluck it. That's something else. Oh my God, that was a chore. Then she'd bring it inside, and she'd singe it, and take all that, the intestines and everything out, and wash it. Now that's something she did very well. And remember, you must do that again today because you still have to wash your chicken real well before you cook it. And of course, then she had to cut it up. Now that was a chore, and that's another chore I hate to do. So when I buy a whole chicken at the grocery, sometimes I cheat. I just get pieces. That's the easiest way. You know, when you get old and lazy or, well, slower, let's put it that way. So, of course, I invested in a good pair of poultry shears, and this is really what I need to use when I cut my chicken, because actually, this really cuts the job down, and it cuts right through those bones. You just don't have to worry about that. All right, let me see this. Ooh, this is so pretty. Now, this is what it has to look like, okay? Put my fire up a little bit. Speed this up. Now, after this, I'm going to add, well, of course, I could add a little dab of water because I see it might need it. Now, okay, just a dab because you don't want to make this too watery, okay? Now, next, I'm going to add my stewed tomatoes, which, of course, if you have canned tomatoes or anything, you can use that too. But I just like to use the plain stewed tomatoes. Yeah, because I've got all the onions, bell pepper, and celery I need in this. without having to buy that with all the other stuff in it. Now, all the flavoring. Ooh, you see that? How that starts cooking real nice? Okay. Now to this, of course, you want more of a tomato gravy. So a lot of people use the tomato sauce or paste, but what I like to use is tomato juice. So I'm going to add my tomato juice to this. And the reason for this is that it gives it a smoother taste. It's really not that, well, I like tomato taste, but it's not so drastic. So then to this, I'm going to add roux, some Cajun roux. This adds to the flavor, and it also helps to thicken it. So now, I'm going to mix all this very well together. And, of course, you're going to throw your chicken back in here. Very good. Okay. Now, ooh, look how gorgeous. I'm telling you, and this tastes as good as it looks, too. So you got to let this cook on a medium fire until the chicken and the tomato sauce is completely done. Now, let me lower my fire a little